Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is a little bit different. What we've got here is a reel that Ken picked up, and it's kind of rough. It's missing some parts. And what we've determined on this reel is that this reel is worth more in the sum of its parts than it is as a whole. So what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble this reel, clean the parts up, evaluate them, find out which ones are good and serviceable, and I'm going to bag them and tag them, and he's going to put the parts out there individually on eBay for sale. So my project today is to get this reel taken apart and the parts all separated out and cleaned, and get them ready to go. Okay, the handle is in really good shape. It needs to be cleaned good, and that's what I'll do. But that'll be bagged and tagged. The end of it works fine. And that's going to make a nice part for somebody out there, because there's somebody out there who needs this handle for a Mitchell 302. So that one's going to go. That's a good part. Okay, next. There it comes. There we go. Now we've got that. All right, there's our spool. And this is a good spool. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to purchase this one from him myself and put it onto my 302 that is missing part of the drag washer assembly out of the spool. So there's a good spool. So there's another reel that's going to be able to be fixed and put back together. All right, next up, we're going to take off the nut on the axle shaft. I'm pretty sure it's, there we go, conventional threads. Okay, we're going to take the nut off and then lift the spool out. Now you've got to be careful when you do that, because if you look right here, I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it. If you zoom in right here, there's a little keyway right there. And that thing is about the size of a BB. And it just so happens that I need one of those for a 306. And they are kind of like hen's teeth, very difficult to come by. And there's that one. And that's another part that I'm going to be purchasing from Ken. And that one, in order to maintain it, I'm going to put it inside a Ziploc bag to make sure I don't lose it. All right. There goes the little part down inside a Ziploc bag. There it is. And I should not be losing that at that point. But that's the part I need to complete my 306 that I've got. Okay, we've got that to that point. And so far, everything here's looking good. All right, now, this is a critical point of failure on these reels, is right here where it holds the bearing in. There are little set screws. Let's zoom in again. Okay, there's little set screws here, and if that head strips off, it's almost impossible to get those two set screws out, and those set screws hold the bearing in place. So if you've got a bad bearing, it's almost impossible to get it out of there if those set screws are bad. Probably what will happen is we're not going to mess with those set screws if this bearing is good. If the bearing's good, what we're going to do is go ahead and sell the whole housing as one unit with a good bearing in it. So that's the route that's probably going to go. Okay, so we're going to leave that in there for now, and let's go ahead and remove the side plate screws. I'm going to put those in a separate bag as well. Now, was this reel salvageable? Yes, it was, but the expense of doing so was probably more than Ken was going to be able to get for the reel. That's why the determination was made that we would break it down into its parts so that he could sell the parts instead of trying to sell the reel as a whole. These reels complete and in pretty good shape don't sell usually for more than about $30. Okay. All right. And this is the part that was missing. It's the plastic cap that goes on here. By the time we paid for that, paid for the shipping on that and got it here and cleaned the rest of the reel up with the missing paint and stuff that was on there, this reel was maybe going to be a $25 reel, and it wasn't worth that. So that's why the determination was made we're going to let it go. Okay, now this side plate, I don't believe we're going to sell it. It's got a lot of corrosion going on and a lot of paint loss, and I don't think that one's worthy of the effort. So that's a part that's probably going to go into the scrap bin. Okay, next we're going to go to the opposite side of this. And see if we can get the screws out of this side. And if I remember correctly, yes, these screws are longer than the screws on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in separate sets of bags. These are going to be one set, that's your short side plate screws. And the other set are going to go in the other side. And they're going to be your long side plate screws, which are going to be handle side. And if anybody's ever tried to buy just these screws, you don't get them for a few cents a piece. You get them for dollars a piece. So they will be sold as a set of 4. And somebody who needs them will purchase them. They will probably only be needing one, but they'll go ahead and buy the set and they'll have spares. Okay. There's the side plate screws for the long side, for the handle side. All right, now we're going to take off the handle side. There's our main gear, and that's a really nice main gear, along with its planetary gear. Let's make sure that the pins are solid in the planetary gear, and they are. They are not loose. I just paid like $16 or $17 for a set of these gears to put into my 302. So the fact that I was able to get them in this is great. So we'll clean that up, and that's going to be a set that sells. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second, clean that up, and then we're going to put it in a bag. All right, the main gear cleaned up beautifully. This is a really nice main gear. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And it will be sold probably as a matched set for this pinion gear. We'll probably make the two up, the pinion gear and the main gear, and sell those as a set together. They have been worn together for a long time, so I think that's the best way to sell those. The planetary gear here, or planetation, I can't think of the proper name that they actually gave that, but it goes in here, and those are going to be sold as a set together. And that's a nice set of gears. And somebody trying to fix up grandpa's or dad's old reel and wanting to be able to put it back out there and use is going to want those parts. Okay, the next is a side plate with a, hang on, thought I cleaned it up, but I didn't. Hang on, I cleaned the back side, but not the front side. All right, now it's clean. The anti-reverse portion of this works very nicely, and somebody's going to want that side plate because these features here tend to break. The pin will snap off. The spring will break. You got 2 springs here. One of them is running this anti-reverse claw. The other one is over here putting the manual pressure on for the spring. And somebody's going to want these parts. So there goes the side plate. And now we're going to move over to here and see if we can remove this axle assembly. There we go. All right, we'll take out that screw. And I believe that's the only part that's holding this axle shaft from coming out. Unless I'm wrong. Nope, I think there might be something on the... Let's see what's holding this to the yeah. I'm gonna have to put on my magnifying glasses because my regular glasses aren't strong enough to see. There we go. With my magnifying glasses, I can see, yes, there is a C-clip right here that has to be removed for this to come on out. And we'll rotate this around a few times, see if it'll get that C-clip to rotate around to where I can get hold of it. And let's remove a little of the grease and dirt that's around it, which should make it easier to see. There we go. With the camera, you guys can probably see the end of it quite clearly, but that is not the case up here where I'm at. And yeah, this is one of those little C-clips that defies you to get it out easily. Let's take this, slide this out over here. There, now I can rotate this. Okay, now I can see the end. That being able to rotate the whole thing makes it easier to see the ends of the C-clip. And each end wants to rotate independently, so the whole thing wants to go around. So this is going to be a 2 screwdriver operation. Put one, and I'm afraid you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this. I'm going to try to zoom in, and I'm trying to keep the screwdrivers out of the way so you can see what we're doing here. And trying to get the screwdriver, well, get this turned around where I can see it and you can see it, which is not that easy to do. There we go. If you look, there's the C-clip popped off right there. Okay, with that off, we can now slide this out. Well, we almost can. We're going to have to get the other C-clip off in order to get it to slide through the pinion gear. So you got to take both C-clips off. Now we've got both C-clips off, and now we can slide this out like so. Okay, now the pinion gear itself, we are going to clean up, and we want to marry that up to the pinion gear. Now, I am a firm believer in fixing things and getting them back into service, which, believe it or not, is part of the reason that I advocated for dismantling this particular reel. Because by doing so, by dismantling this reel, it will hopefully give several other reels a second chance at life again. This gear's in great shape. So it will match up here like so, and this is a set. These will be sold as a set. Okay, now what we're going to do is we still got this block in the back here. All right, this block is going to marry back up to this axle shaft. And it will go back on here like so. And then we'll put the screw back in it. And then we have the crosswind block, which goes on here. And of course you can't put it on with this off. So what we're going to do is it's going to go together, the axle shaft and the two C-clips and the crosswind block and the block in the back. Those all together go together as one. All right, this brings us down to this bearing. And, well, it seems that we're in luck because this bearing is in good shape. So we will spritz a little cleaning solvent in there, run it around a little bit, spin it around a little bit to break up any old dissolved grease out of there. And there is a good, oh, don't lose the shim. Okay. All right. Now, if you look carefully inside here, you will see that's the end of the set screw on one side, and that's the end of the set screw on the other side. Now, you can possibly take these out, but I'm not going to mess with them. I'm going to leave them alone. And if the person buying it wants to try to take them out, that's fine. I'm not going to, because the bearing is in excellent condition. And we are going to also supply them with this shim that goes in here on each side. And this part is going to go and be included inside the bag with it. And there you have it. This thing is all broken down. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I believe that this rotor, although it's all scratched up, it's got corrosion on it, needs paint. Mechanically, it's in excellent condition. See? It still flips, it trips, does everything it's supposed to do. If you flip the lever over here, it flips over. Oh, you can't see any of that. Let's back up. Okay, the bail trips. Okay, come over here, flip the lever. There you go. The bail's in excellent condition on this one. There's no cut in the rotor or roller up top. I will probably take this apart and clean it. Probably not. I think I'm going to sell this just as is. It's a used rotor, but it is in excellent condition. It trips nicely. And we'll let that go just as it is also. All right, so now what can we expect to get out of it? Okay, also this piece is going to go with this. That's the collar that fits down. Once this piece is in place, like so, all right, once that goes back in there, like it's supposed to, you got to get the two little cutouts on each of the screws, like so. And then this piece fits down with the cuts facing down towards those screws. And fits down in there. There. And that's how that all goes together. And we're going to let those pieces there go as one set. Okay. I'm going to wipe this out a little bit inside. But this, all the parts here are functional. The only part that is lacking is right here. If you look, there's a little rubber bumper that's supposed to fit on there, and that rubber bumper is worn out. But aside from that, everything else is here and functional, and somebody who needs to repair their 302 can do so easily with this assembly if they need these parts. The pin inside here is free. It easily moves. There's just really no reason for this to not do well. There is a little pitting on the chrome over here. But overall, this is a very, very good, solid operational part. And there she be. Okay, so what's all this worth? Well, let's back up for a minute now and take the parts as parts. Okay, normally a handle like this sells for $10. Okay, this main gear set here will probably sell for $8 to $12. This gear set here, I paid, I think it was $18. With shipping and everything else, I think I paid $18 for the one I bought. So there's another $8 to $10. $6 here. I paid $14 for the one of these I bought. Okay. Axle shaft assembly, complete with the C-clips, another $7 or $8. And then the rotor assembly, $10 easily, because I paid $12 just for the bail wire for mine, for one I did. So put all that together. Oh, and that doesn't include $5 for side plate screws, another $5 for side plate screws, and this keyway, which he's probably going to give me, but I'll offer to buy it, and the spool, which again he'll probably give me, but I'll offer to buy it also, and I'll be happy to do so, not just to offer, but to actually buy it, because I need them for mine. So this dismantled like this reel, now granted, to get your money out of it, you got to put a whole lot more effort into it, because there's a whole lot of different sales. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sales at let's say $8 a sale. Well, guess what, folks? That's a whole lot more money than he would ever get for this reel by itself. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna bag all these parts up and get them ready for him. But I'm sure some of you out there are not gonna like the fact that I did this video, but this is a video for how sometimes reels make sense in a different manner than what we're used to. We like to try to find parts and fix things, and well, guess what? This was a serviceable reel, but it was bought for the purpose of resale. And in the resale market, it just really wasn't worth much. So the best route for it was to do this with it and give 8 other reels an opportunity to get out there and go running again. All right. So I hope you liked the video. If you didn't, hey, I understand that. Go ahead and hit the dislike button. If you did like it, hit the like button. You know, that like actually does a lot for the algorithm on keeping things flowing and getting more people to find Young Martin's Reels and allowing us to do this more and more and get the word out to more and more people. So if you hit the like button, that would be great. If you don't, hey, okay, so be it. But for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.